In order for a man to be a proper man, a good man, he needs to be raised by a mother and a father.
100%.
Yeah, definitely. I believe that.
The ideal situation, I believe, is for a man to be raised by both parents. But more importantly, I think one of the most important things for a boy is to have a male father figure in their life. And if we're talking about this, we're talking about the subject today. If you look at the media and you look at TV shows and you look at what is portrayed as a father figure, right, in TV shows and stuff like that, you look at The Simpsons, you can look at Family Guy,
Family Guy.
right? These are bumbling idiots. They're bumbling guys, and it's normally the women in the relationship, which is the smart ones. And they're like, oh, we know those guys are stupid. And it's like, oh, I'm just going to be a bumbling idiot and just grab a beer and go and do. That is what women and men and young boys are being shown what a father is. And I think the masculinity when it comes to fatherhood has been removed from society, which is why we have such a problem with the young males.
It also helps to know all the vice that is available at your disposal, the negative vice. If you know all of it, you can prevent your child succumb to that vice. That's important before it becomes the degenerate. It's easy to become in contemporary society. 100 years ago, we didn't have much to do. It was easy to be raised by a village if your father died. Your father dies now, you're selling crack. You're selling crack right now, not goats.
Right.
You gave the example of The Simpsons. I grew up watching Simpsons, and I remember seeing Homer. As funny as he was, this wasn't my dad, personally.
Right.
This wasn't my father figure. He was just a comedy act. But a lot of people see this, especially for the ones who don't have dads. They see it, they grow up on it, although it is comedic. It is an example of how men are portrayed in society. And when they grow up without such a male figure that they can look up to, you get what you get.
My father is a prime example of the thing that I was supposed to avoid, essentially. I don't know my father since my father left me and my mom when I was 1 year old. And my mom always told me that he was allowed to always be part of my life, even if he wasn't part of her life. And she was expecting him to do so, but he just wasn't. When I was 4 or 5 years old, I got a cheap toy motorcycle, and then that was it. That was the one time I heard from him until I was 16, and then he met me just so that he can give me my signature so I can change my name. And after that,
Change it to his name.
change it to my mom's family name, right?
Oh,
'Cause I
wow.
was on his name. And then he was he beat himself in the chest with his fist, oh, I want to buy you a guitar or something like that. I want to spend more time with you. And I'm like, I don't believe that, but I'm gonna stay quiet, see what you're gonna do. That never happened again. Again, I haven't heard from him since. I was like, fair enough. Now, funnily enough, I actually had a message from my mom saying, your dad's been looking for you. And I'm like, look, I'm 31 years old now. I've achieved more in my life than he achieved in his. I know how he ended up. I'm not curious to be part of his life. And I was like, I'm not interested. I think that my mom was a better role model, better masculine role model for me than my dad could ever been.
Are you saying that your mother had to fulfill that role?
She had to. She had no choice.
Right.
Because otherwise...
But in the ideal world, you would have preferred it to be him.
No. I would have preferred it to be someone else that has a bit of cojones.
Yeah.
A bit more responsibility. Look at me. I'm 31 years old. I don't have a child because I've been responsible. I've been engaging in sexual activities responsibly. I've been protecting myself. I'm not married because I haven't found the right person. I'm not jumping in, willy nilly into whatever situation just so I can be a father. I'm waiting for the right moment. And I feel like he's made all the mistakes that he could have possibly made. And he was a role model for me in terms of what not to do.
Right. So when it's time for you to become a father, you know what not to do.
Yes.
Right.
If somehow by accident, let's say unlikely, but by accident, I have a kid, I guess I have to just drop everything. It's not about my life anymore, you know?
I can talk from personal experience because I share the same sentiments as you because I was raised without my father, and he disappointed me, and he had like 5 children that he disappointed, so it wasn't just me. But what it done to me is that it made me understand what I don't want to be like. But a lot of the times when it comes to fatherhood and children who don't have fathers, is that they turn out just like their fathers. They do the same things. You know, they repeat the same cycles that their father did. So I just commend you on that. So, you know, well done. Keep going.
Just to say, this is an example. Like just because my father was like that, doesn't mean that society should look down on fathers as a whole. You know, because then you instill that sentiment, and then men think like, oh well, everyone else is doing it. You know, why are you looking at me for? And that gives them the opportunity to for them to be irresponsible. We should encourage people. We should encourage like fathers. Like we should see fatherhood the same way as we see motherhood,
Right.
because then we avoid all these problems. You know.
How has it, affected you? Not having your father around.
It's been hard because I didn't, as a child, I didn't know how to be masculine. I would get beaten up, bullied a lot at school. I would be afraid to fight back. I had the glass, made of glass syndrome. You know, I was afraid that if I punched someone, like they would just shatter, because I don't know, like I just was not taught to defend myself. My mom, you know, she couldn't really educate me on that side of stuff. So it definitely had an impact on me. I had to learn everything I had to learn from the streets. I had to go through the hard bits, you know, get robbed, get beaten up. And it was a grueling situation, but I think I came out of it quite well, and quite it could have been worse. I could have come out real.
I think your story is, one of the reasons why we say fathers are so important. I think society pushes fathers out of the home. If you go to the Fathers for Justice website, it shows that 200 children per day are removed from their father by the family court system. So I think the society doesn't really value fatherhood.